All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to put on our detective hats and actually reverse engineer a classic grammar quiz. By decoding these 10 questions, we're going to uncover the structural blueprints of the present simple tense. So whether you're just brushing up on the basics or you're looking for that perfect structural understanding to really elevate your English, let's dive right in. Now, I want you to treat this explainer like an interactive puzzle. Don't just sit back and watch. Actively try to solve each question in your head before I reveal the grammatical rule behind it. Because by the end of this, you won't just have a list of correct answers. You'll literally have the mechanics of the English language imprinted in your mind. Okay, let's kick things off with our very first clue. She blank a uniform. The key to unlocking this whole puzzle is actually that tiny little word right at the beginning, she. So what do you think? Have you locked in your guess? Well, if you guessed wears, you are absolutely right. And this is all thanks to what we call the magic S rule. The crucial takeaway here is that whenever you're dealing with a third-person singular subject, which just means he, she, or it, English requires you to add an S to the base verb. So wear simply becomes wears. She wears uniform. Pretty straightforward, right? Let's see how this builds. Let's see how this plays out in the real world. What does Rosemary do with 3 languages, and what does Bern do in a flat in Birmingham? Think back to that role we literally just talked about. So, singular names followed the exact same rule as he, she, and it. Rosemary is a she, so she speaks. Bern is a he, so he lives. You see? Once you spot this pattern, it's like a game changer. You stop guessing and you just start knowing. Okay, let's test that logic one more time. My dad and Nancy's uncle. Now, they aren't pronouns or first names, sure, but they are relative titles that represent a single person, a he. So, applying our rule, my dad gets up and Nancy's uncle travels. By now, you're probably feeling pretty confident, right? And honestly, you should be. You've got the magic S down. You find the singular subject, you slap an S on the base verb, and you move on to the next one. But let me throw a bit of a curveball your way, just to keep things interesting. In a language as old and quirky as English, do we always just add a simple, straightforward S to the very end of the verb? Well, let's investigate that with this sentence. He blank his car every weekend. Now we know he needs an S. But if we just stick a simple S on the base word wash, it becomes W-A-S-H-S. Go ahead, try saying that out loud. Washes. Yeah, it's incredibly awkward to pronounce, isn't it? So while a verb like wear easily becomes wears, the language actually steps in to save our tongues with wash, giving us washes, spelled with an ES. And this isn't just some random quirk. There is actually a very specific, highly logical framework behind it. Enter the ES spelling exception. The absolutely crucial point here is this. If your base verb ends in a hissing sound, we're talking SH, CH, double S, X, or Z, you must add an ES instead of just a lone S. So words like wash become washes. It's honestly a brilliant structural adjustment made purely to make the words flow better and be easier for us to vocalize in everyday conversation. Okay, so we have officially cracked the code on how to construct and spell these verbs. You've mastered the mechanics. But, a true linguistic detective doesn't just ask how, they ask why. Like, what actually connects a girl wearing a uniform to a guy washing its car? Let's shift gears for a second from spelling to context. Consider Isabel the flight attendant and Jim the postman. Isabel serves passengers and Jim delivers letters. The common theme here, we are talking about their occupations. We specifically use the present simple to describe things that are generally true and part of an established routine. And this pattern just continues perfectly. Because it's her permanent career, Jane the doctor helps ill people. And even without an exact title, their son works in this hospital. The grammar perfectly aligns with the reality of a steady, ongoing situation. Let's really crystallize this concept. The present simple isn't actually just about things happening right now, in this very specific second. Ironically, it's used to describe the broader, bigger picture. We use it for permanent situations, like where you live, established facts, daily routines like washing your car every weekend, and of course, our jobs. It is literally the foundational tense for describing the stable realities of our daily world. All right, before we reveal the final results, let's do a rapid-fire summary of our master checklist. This is your ultimate takeaway from this explainer. Number 1, always add an S for third-person singular subjects, and that includes all singular names and titles. 2, remember that spelling exception and add ES for verbs ending in hissing sounds, like sh. And 3, use this tense specifically to talk about jobs, permanent facts, and daily routines. If you keep this three-point checklist in mind, you are going to navigate this tense with absolute ease. And there it is, the fully decoded answer key, the whole shebang. What started as just a random assortment of questions is now a perfectly logical grammatical system. She wears, he washes, Rosemary speaks, my dad gets up, Isabel serves, their son works, Jim delivers, Jane helps, Byrne lives, Nancy's uncle travels. You didn't just memorize 10 answers today, you completely uncovered the hidden architecture behind them. Now, what's really fascinating about language is that there is always another layer to explore. You have absolutely mastered how to describe permanent routines and daily jobs using the present simple. But let me leave you with this provocative thought. If the present simple is primarily for everyday habits, how would you accurately describe what you are doing right at this exact fleeting second? Like literally watching this very explainer. Well, for that, we're going to need a whole new tool called the present continuous tense. But hey, that's a linguistic puzzle for another time. Keep asking questions, keep looking for those patterns, and I will see you in the next explainer.